Do you know how many caves I went into looking for strange old men to give me wooden swords?
Sorry, just had to raise my eyebrows at strange old men.
Steve and Jason met while co-hosting one of the first podcasts ever, hundreds of miles away from each other, but bonded through the magic of the internet. Since the end of that podcast in 2023, the geeky guys decided to keep on hanging out and keep podcasting, because still after all these years, Steve and Jason are having a real fun time. So, we're going to harken back to the olden times, when I was a child and I spent a lot of time in caves. I've told some cave stories before. Pretty sure I haven't told this one. So, cave story time. So, like I said, in Idaho, there's a whole area called, it's the Arco Desert or Craters of the Moon. There's a bunch of different names for it. But it's just lava flow that has kind of got some dirt over it now. So there's all these really cool lava caves that you can go through. Now, I know lava cave sounds like a cool level from Mario, but it's not. It's just, it was lava. Now it's, the lack of lava has made a cave. So, but they're really fun. They're really cool. And some of them are pretty easy to access and everyone's in them. They're very common. Lots of people will check them out. Others are a lot more like you have to have special permits and stuff to go to. They're trying to keep these ones nice. Like, oh, everyone can go to this one where that kid pooped. That's for everybody now. But like, we want to keep all the non-poopers in this cave. So our leader wanted to do a big special trip to one of these nicer caves. So we got the special permits. He had to apply like a year in advance. And this was back when the only information that you could have about this thing was a pamphlet that they gave you. So the day before the thing, he went, he got the pamphlet and he got the key. Pamphlet came with a map. So he photocopied the map and he gave it all to us. This was the most Goonies ass map that I've ever seen in my life. It was hand drawn and there were like little comments written on the side explaining something. And there was one that said deep crevasse pointing to one section. Jason's smirking already. Is it just the word crevasse? Do you like laughing at a crevasse?
Yes, because nobody outside of a written prose uses that word.
No. People who climb mountains or deal with glaciers, they talk about crevasses all the time because a crevasse is a constant threat because the crevasse is deep and the crevasse is wide and the crevasse will swallow you whole.
And that word has completely lost all meaning now and also sounds way too close to ass than I just hear ass every time you say it. Crevasse. Crevasse. As you were.
My work here is done. So we had a kid in our group who, to use the parlance of the podcast, was a real sickler. He did not like doing all the fun stuff. He liked staying nice and safe and filling out forms.
I kind of do.
He saw that deep crevasse and instantly started getting scared. It's like, crap, I know my friends. They're not careful. They're gonna fall into this thing. They might push me into this thing. They're jerks and idiots. Something bad is going to happen. So he told the scoutmasters, like, I don't think we should go to this area. There's a deep crevasse. And the scoutmaster's like, just be careful and we'll just go around it. Look, we have to go past these deep crevasses to get to this part of the cave where the ice stalactites are. And that's what we want to go see. So we're doing it. We're braving the crevasse. So this kid just got more and more freaked out the closer we got to it. Because we started passing some places where you had to like climb down and then climb back up. And they were pretty deep, like, a good 20 or 30 feet. Things like, oh, wow, this didn't say deep crevasse on the thing. If this isn't a deep crevasse, how deep is this crevasse? This crevasse has to be massive. It's got to be the deepest crevasse that ever vast. It must be so vast. So he got more and more freaked out, like literally shaking as we got closer and closer to the spot where we think it was on the map. It was really kind of hard to tell. It was one of those maps where you're just like, I don't know, it says like go by the rock that looks like a horse. Does that rock look like a horse? It's horse-ish. We'll count it. So we finally get to the room where we got to the deep crevasse. And we're going through it one at a time. Or going into this bigger area one at a time. And the first person's, holy crap, I found the crevasse, Jason. And the next person's like, yep, this is it. This is definitely it. Be careful. I'm right behind him at this point, and he's like trying to push back against me, and I'm pushing him forward as we go deeper and deeper towards this crevasse. And people are making a bigger deal about it. Like, oh, wow, oh, dang, drop something down it. Let's see how far down it goes. Like that. And we get to the crevasse. And it was very, very deep. probably 100 to 150 feet deep. It was 2 inches wide. And we jumped over it just to freak him out.
Can't imagine a bigger letdown. Like, you worked me all the way up. I was almost there. And then you just walked out of the room. And I was like, well, that's not what I came here for.
I gave you everything I promised you, Jason, at the start of the story. A deep crevasse. Do with that 2-inch wide crevasse what you want.
Don't say that. That sounds dirty.
Not to me, it doesn't. I'm just talking about crevasse, Jason.
That's just spelunking humor.
We went down the shaft and found the crevasse.
Oh, yep. You sure did. It would be unbearable for a non-spelunker to hang out with you people. Everything talking about deep openings.
Now it's your turn. Tell a crevasse story.
I avoid them like the plague so I don't fall down them.
Well, now you know. Even if you do find them, you won't fit.
I mean, most likely. I do remember reading a book with my son. It was a National Geographic book. It was a guy that was doing an excavation. He was exploring a dig site. And to get in there, he basically had to go in a space like that and go down in it so he could get to the larger space to explore, which was still quite cramped, it sounds like. And just reading it to my son was making me feel claustrophobic. I almost had to get out from under the covers of our bed. And I was reading it to him in to breathe and just oh. Ask him, so, well, how does that sound to you? Does that sound like fun to go down to a cave? He's like, yeah, that'd be cool to explore. And trying to impress upon him, you don't understand. This is holding my hands up. This is the space that he crawled in to get into a cave that's only this tall. And he's like, yeah, I can fit. I'm just like, okay. You say you're cool. You are not cool.
He is cool. He's not a weenie. Are you trying to make claustrophobia hereditary?
I mean, yes, but also I'm trying to, I don't want him to be like me. I don't want that. But I need him to know why I'm afraid to do it. So he at least knows that my reason is sound. I'm not crazy. This sounds like a bad idea because blah, 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 blah. But if you decide to do it, I will also support that. But don't.
None of what you just said makes sense. You're a mystery wrapped in an enigma surrounded by a weenie burrito. I don't want you to be afraid of things, son. I want you to know why I'm afraid of things and then do the same thing I would do in that situation, which is functionally the same as being afraid of.
I mean, yeah. I was recounting a story recently from a dad at the church that was helping make a meal for the youth one night, and he left the child with slicing duties on a lot of vegetables for the salad. So all right, so you slice those up and I'll come back and, check on you in a little bit. So he went and did other stuff, other prep things for, I think it was pasta or something. So he was making all that, boiling the water, all that stuff. Finished it up and came back and I said, all right, so how's it going? And that person had cut a carrot. And he said, oh, okay. So we don't know how to slice vegetables, do we? And it's no, not really. Sorry. He's like, oh, well, that's okay. I left you to do it and said, okay, do that. And I didn't realize you'd do such a bad job. Okay. Well, it's I told you to do a job. I just didn't know you'd do it so bad. That's not the kind of demoralizing thing I would tell my child. I'd find a more truthful way of saying, you suck at this.
But you're not telling him that he sucks at it. He could be the best cave explorer ever. You're just telling him not to try.
Again, I don't want to tell him don't try. I'm saying I feel like if I tried, I'd probably die. So you probably shouldn't either. Very different.
This is a real crevasse situation right now.
It is.
Saying the same thing. Saying the same thing in 2 different ways.
We are totally up a crevasse without a crevasse.
As much as I hate to admit it, your turning your kid into a weenie isn't going to affect his life any, because the world is not what it was when I grew up. All the crevasses are gone. It's really hard to go and find a truly dangerous place to go explore.
Okay. So all the crevasses have filled in and now there's no excitement when you go exploring. No more treasures to be found.
Well, okay. So I say that, but then when I'm in Utah, I'm exploring the mountain behind our house, and I find creepy stuff, crazy stuff all the time. I showed you the shrine to the shrunken baby doll that I came across one Halloween. There is, I swear, somebody set up a landing pad for UFOs in their backyard because I can't figure out what this thing is. It's got all these weird shapes on it, and you can only see it from above. But if you hike above your house, you're like, those people are crazy. One person in the next neighborhood over had a huge Bigfoot statue in their backyard, but they took it down because too many people were coming to their backyard to see the Bigfoot statue. I'm like, why'd you put it up? I think you missed the point. You were cool. I come across things all the time. I'm like, yeah, this would make a fun D&D adventure, but I have to lie and add stuff to it. There's nothing that just by itself is really dangerous to 2 foot wide or 2 inch wide people.
Yeah, that would be an interesting campaign to go through.
We're just playing people, but we're 2 inches tall. How do you get out of bed in the morning?
I imagine the entire party getting maybe 3 hours in and saying to you, I swear to God, if you say crevasse one more time, I'm going to throw myself out that window.
Some people aren't meant for adventure.
I guess sticklers for, well, yeah. I'm not. I know that. So, back when I was a kid, maybe I'd be up for it. When I was younger, before I got disillusioned. But yeah, no.
I thought you were going to say before you got Nintendo.
Disillusioned, Nintendo, it's the same thing.
Because from what I can tell, your spirit of adventure died the day that Mario came to life.
It's supposed to be the other way around, according to the marketing materials.
Yeah, and it was for me. Do you know how many caves I went into looking for strange old men to give me wooden swords?
Sorry, just had to raise my eyebrows at strange old men.
That's what Zelda taught me. If you go in the right cave, an old man will give you a sword.
I mean, yeah, I get that. But also, have more common sense, please, is what I would ask my child. No, I definitely remember, I don't think it was, I feel like it was maybe the Game Boy titles, or maybe it was even Ocarina of Time. I honestly don't remember. But there's one of the games I played that made me want to be Link so badly, I would stick sticks down my shirt as like my sheath. So of course, when you take it out, it's like, as the knots like rake across your back. And I had no caves. I definitely not near my house. I could maybe go to like the outskirts of town and get to something that would resemble a cave and go exploring, but I don't think I would have been excited about what I found.
Nowadays, if you went into a cave, a strange old man would give you a needle.
It's scary out there. Don't go alone. Take this. Okay, thanks. I'll use this somewhere. No, take it now. I want to watch you. All right.
It's heroin. Take it.
He doesn't even try and hide it from you. He's just a really excited heroin dealer in a cave. No, it's heroin. Do it. Come on. I want to watch
it. First bump's free, Jason. That's how they get you. Just like Nintendo Power.
I mean, yes, video games can be an addiction. I would not compare them to heroin.
No, I was talking about the magazine that gave you 2 or 3 issues for free, and then you had to cancel, and they just knew you were a kid and wouldn't, so your parents were stuck paying.
I think I've talked about my proclivities for magazine subscriptions as a child. I think at one point I had 6, and the best day would be when, lo and behold, they all arrived together. And our mailbox almost fell off the house. It was so heavy. And this is back when Electronic Gaming Monthly was like 300 pages. And I was just in pig heaven. I just looked at, oh man, all these screenshots to look through. Oh man, rumors about the Nintendo 64. If I knew what jizzing was, I'd probably do it in my pants.
I'm so glad I'm inside right now. So glad I don't have a crevasse to explore.
Someday I'll get that. Right now, women aren't important. Thank you for joining us for this episode of Steve and Jason Are Having a Real Fun Time. We hope you had a real fun time too. Please like us on whatever platform you found us on and, well, just like us in general.